Hi and welcome back to the Discover Newport YouTube channel. My name's Kevin. I'm a white badge guide for the city of Newport, and if you need any guiding around, contact details are in the YouTube channel. So today, what am I going to be looking at? I'm going to be looking at the night that Newport went to war. So let's just have a look at where we are. We're down at St Bride's at the mouth of the River Rusk. So I'll do a quick scan and point out various places. So here we are. We're at the West Usk Lighthouse. That's available on Airbnb if you're looking for somewhere nice to stay. It's got an isolation tank for those who are interested in that sort of thing. Zero gravity isolation tank. You are very remote here. You are well away from any sort of civilization. So for those who are looking for a bit of a time, maybe a retreat or a bit of relaxation. But anyway, just past there, you can see the docks. This is Alexandra Docks, which are the main docks for Newport. As we swing around, on the other side of the River Usk, the Usk mouth, we see the power station, and just beyond there, where all those pylons are, is wetlands, Newport Wetlands and the Wetland Centre. So as we go out of the River Usk and into the River Severn Estuary, you may just be able to spot Portbury Docks. That's the North Somerset coast. As we swing around, we're going out down through the Severn Estuary, and beyond the estuary you have the English Channel, well, the Bristol Channel, and then the English Channel. So, about the night that Newport went to war. Okay, apologies in advance for any background noise you might hear. I am fairly close to the quarry and we're hearing trucks beeping and loading up and unloading of gravel and stuff. But on to the night that Newport declared war. Now we can't see it from here, but on Sunday the 3rd of August, the SS Belgia was moored up just outside the Scilly Islands, waiting to go in port to refuel. It was on its way from Boston to Hamburg and it needed refueling. But on the 3rd of August, France declared war against Germany. The captain of the SS Belgia, fearing that his ship might be seized, sailed for English waters. On Monday 4th of August, he moored just off the North Somerset coast and requested the Newport pilot to go and bring him into dock at Newport to refuel, to make his way to Hamburg. The Newport pilot went out to the ship and brought him up to Uskmouth at the edge of Newport Docks and moored here, and he was here at about 5 p.m. on Monday the 4th of August. Now, at the Prizes Court and at the Law Lords, a claim was made against the government for acting illegally. The owners of the ship said they had the Newport pilot on board, and the Newport pilot brought the ship into Newport's waters. Now, if that was true, the ship could not be seized because we was not at war, and if war had been declared while the ship was in port or in dock at Newport, then it could be interned, but it couldn't be seized and it couldn't be used as a prize. They claimed that they came into Newport Port's waters, but it was turned back, and the harbour master ordered the ship back out of Newport's waters, and it was forced to moor about 5 miles offshore at the Bell Buoy. So in court, the harbour master claimed he didn't turn the ship back out of the waters. He claimed that there was not enough water at the time of tide for the ship to progress beyond the mooring at the Bell Buoy and could not come into Newport waters, which could probably be true, and it's the defence that was accepted by both the Prizes Court and the Law Lords. They both deemed that it didn't really matter where the state of the tide was. At the time that the ship was seized, it was not in port waters. So the ship, the SS Belgia, was a big ship for Newport. It would have been the biggest ship ever to have entered the docks. It had 8,000 tons and a 20-foot displacement. Now, a month earlier, the dock had new dock gates installed to allow up to 30-foot displacement, but before then, the ship would have been too big to enter dock. So quite lucky at the time that that new extension to the dock had been established, and even so, it still needed 30 foot of water, which was a big tide for that ship to come in on. It couldn't come in on a fairly standard or a low tide. It had to be a high tide and a fairly decent tide to provide the water up the estuary. So let's get back to the day Newport went to war. 5 p.m. the ship was moored just outside Uskmouth, just outside Port Waters, and at 11 p.m. Britain went to war with Germany. Now that was 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. British time. It was midnight German time, and that was a deadline for Germany to abide by the demands of Britain if they wanted to avoid war. They didn't. War was declared midnight German time, 11 p.m. UK time. So at that stage, the tide was not suitable for the master to go out and seize that ship. Bearing in mind, the Newport pilot was still on board the ship. That delay in tide availability and allowing them to bring the ship in gave Captain Cutcliffe, the dock harbour master at the time to arrange to go out and board the ship. So he went down, talked to the chief constable at the time, who managed to get together a posse of 12 constables and special constables. They armed themselves with whatever they could find and headed down to the tug in the harbour, ready to go out and meet the SS Belgia. So the 12 constables, armed with service rifles, hid in the wheelhouse of the tug, which headed out to the Belgia. Now, Captain Cutcliffe and Chief Constable Gower were the ones who boarded the ship. The ship itself was a freighter passenger ship. It had food and various other items of cargo, but it also had 20 crew, and it also had on board 76 naval reservists. So there was a fair size of army personnel or naval personnel on board the ship, and only the 12 constables plus the harbour master, Captain Cutcliffe, and Chief Constable Gower. So the Germans could have put up a bit of a fight if they wanted to. Fortunately, it didn't happen. Captain Cutcliffe and Chief Constable Gower and the Newport pilot, who was already on board, managed to persuade the captain and the crew of the SS Belgia to surrender the ship, and they were escorted back into Newport Docks just behind us, and through the brand new dock gates which allowed these larger ships to enter. Now, it's likely that this action was probably one of the first actions against Germany of World War One. It couldn't have happened anymore. It happened early hours of the 5th of August, when the tides were right to allow the ship to come up. So it was probably about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning when the tides were right, and the tug could go out and bring in the Belgia. So the Belgia moored up in Alexandra Docks. The reservists were taken prisoner, and so was the crew, and they were taken and held in the Tempest Hall in Newport. So probably the first prisoners of war taken by Britain during World War One. So on the 6th of August, the prisoners were interned and taken up to Merseyside to be taken to an internment camp for the remainder of the war. So the ship itself was seized. It was brought into British shipping. It joined the Strict line, which was now part of P&O, and it was renamed. Who was it renamed? The Hunsdeck. Now, most German ships that were captured had the pre-name of Huns and a surname added on, and this was the Hunsdeck, which was used by the British Navy or the Merchant Navy for transport of troops and also weapons. Now the Hun's deck stayed in service until the 1917 when it was sunk by German U-boat as it supplied arms and troops to Salonika, just off the Moroccan coast. 15 lives were lost as the ship went down, but the majority managed to get off and reach Morocco safely. So, as we said, the prize courts dismissed the claims of the shipping line, the original shipping line, that it had been refused or it had entered Newport port and then told to illegally leave the port. That was dismissed by both the law lords and the prizes court. So the cargo on board ship was auctioned off down at the Waterloo Hotel. Substantial amount of food, gold bullion was included in that. But most interesting of all was that it held a consignment of exotic animals, including 30 alligators that were heading to the Hamburg Zoo. Now these were bought by a local businessman from Abergavenny, Mr. T. Murphy, and he put them on display in Abergavenny and charged an admission fee. Half of the admission fee went to buy war bonds to help fund the war effort. So, Newport and the brave constables and police officers of Newport were almost certainly involved in the first offensive action of World War I, when they went out and seized the SS Belgia and took the first prisoners of war, almost certainly, of the First World War in Britain. Certainly landed the first prisoners of war here at Newport Docks. So let's just hope you enjoyed that little story about Newport. I'm here at St Bride's on the South Coast Path. We can't go into the docks, unfortunately, for security reasons. They don't allow public access, so we can't really go up to the docks and actually do this video at the docks. But this is a beautiful location, especially when the tide's in, and it's just a stunning on a summer afternoon, even though today it's a little bit overclouded. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Until the next video, this is Kevin Heath, White Badge Guide for the city of Newport.